everybody, it's Yanni back, and we are doing day 21 of our 31 days of Halloween. Today, we're going to be doing one of my favorite movies of all time. Not because Kate Beckinsale is running around in latex. Okay, maybe it is. I don't know. It's Underworld. Alright, let's get into it. Underworld! For generations, vampires and lycans, which is a species of werewolves, have secretly waged war. The vampires gained the upper hand when lycan leader Lucian seemingly dies at the hands of the vampire Craven, who becomes second in command to the vampires' leading elders. Celine, an elite group member of vampire assassins known as Death Dealers, continues to pursue the extermination of the lycans despite no other vampires thinking they're a threat. During a clash with the lycans, Celine discovers they are looking for Michael Corvin, a seemingly ordinary medical student. Disregard Craven's insistence to ignore the situation, Celine privately investigates Michael. Edit. After approaching him, the pair find themselves pursued by a group of lycans led by Lucian, who is still alive and manages to bite Michael during their escape. Since Craven is the only witness to Lucian's supposed death, Celine comes to suspect he lied about killing him and he might be working with the lycans. Celine prematurely awakens Victor, a hibernating elder vampire, and leaves to hide Michael in a safe place. Celine binds Michael, fearing that the lycan's bite will transform into a werewolf when the full moon rises. As the two of them bond, she gradually tells him more about her past, relating that Victor adopted her and turned her into a vampire after her family's death at the hands of lycans, leading her to start a vengeful campaign against them. And that Michael's hallucinations are memories that Lucian passed down to him. Celine goes back to the Coven's mansion, furious about being woken early. Victor refuses to believe Celine's warnings about Craven's treachery and reminds her that her fellow elder Marcus is supposed to be awakened before him. Meanwhile, en route to the mansion to awaken Marcus, Amelia, who is the current ruler of the Coven, is later ambushed and killed by the lycans, who have tracked her with the assistance of Craven. Celine escapes the mansion and manages to capture and abduct the lycan scientist Singe, while the lycans manage to capture Michael. While held captive in the lycan's lair, Michael soon learns that Lucian was once in love with Victor's daughter Sonia, and that Victor murdered her after he discovered an affair. Lucian claims that the lycans were once slaves of the vampires, and the war began when they rose up against them for their fight for freedom. At the vampire's mansion, a captive Singe reveals that Celine was being honest about Craven's betrayal, and he reveals that why the lycans want Michael. Vampires and lycans actually have a common ancestor, believe it or not, which Michael is a direct descendant of. As an heir to the legendary Cornvius bloodline, he carries a unique genetic strain that would allow him to become a vampire-werewolf hybrid, which Singe predicts the lack of weaknesses of both species. Anger Victor then kills Singe and mobilizes the Death Dealers so they can raid the lycan's lair to kill the remaining lycans, including Michael. The ensuing showdown between vampires and lycans, Celine breaks into the lair to rescue Michael. Craven and Lucian turn on each other, and the former tells Celine that Victor was the only one who murdered her family and only spared and mentored her because she reminds him of his daughter. Celine is forced to bite a fatally injured Michael, believing her bite will make him an immortal vampire-werewolf hybrid. Craven shoots Lucian and kills him. Victor arrives at the lycan's lair after the battle, admits to murdering Celine's parents and killing his daughter. He also insists that he killed Sonia for the good of his people and reveals that she was pregnant with Lucian's child, an abomination in the eyes of the two species. Lastly, he claims that Celine became immortal because he loved her and proceeds to fight the hybrid Michael. Initially overwhelmed by Michael's strength, Victor eventually gets the upper hand and attempts to strangle him. Celine rouses from her disorientation and kills Victor by beheading him with his sword. Now enemies of both vampire and lichen, Celine and Michael flee the vampire's lair together. Yeah. So there you go. By the way, Marcus, now the sole surviving vampire elder, is awoken at the end of the movie. So there you go. It's, again, great movie. It's Kate Beckinsale running around in leather and latex and all that other stuff, and everybody loves it. And Underworld is a cool movie. What can you say, right? I mean, come on. Yeah. It's Underworld, for crying out loud. It's probably one of the best soundtracks out there. It's one of the best movies that are out there. You know, of course, some of the later ones weren't that great, but you get what you get, right? All right. That's going to do it. Hamburger out.